Welcome to this video on office procedures based on the Manual of Office Procedures 2010, revised and updated by the Nagaland Civil Secretariat. This video is part 2 of the checks on delays. In this video, we will address watch on disposal of communications received from members of parliament, MLAs and VIPs, monitoring of court and CAT cases and implementation of court and CAT orders, register of assembly assurances, checklist of periodical reports, review of periodical reports and returns, and responsibility of expeditious disposal of work. Let us begin with watch on disposal of communications received from members of parliament, MLAs, and VIPs. The personal branch of each joint secretary will maintain a separate register of communications received from members of parliament in the form given in Appendix 44 of the manual. The serial number at which a letter is entered in this register will be prominently marked on that letter together with its date of registration. Example 25 stroke JS stroke P MP stroke MLA 1st December 2009. To keep a special watch on speedy disposal of communications received from members of parliament or MLAs, each branch will maintain a register as in form at Appendix 45 of the manual and mark out prominently those communications finally disposed of by rounding off the serial numbers of the register in red ink. If for any reason an MP's or MLA's letter is received by a branch without being registered in the personal branch of the Joint Secretary, immediate steps will be taken to get it registered there. On the first working day of each month, each branch will submit the register along with the report in the form at Appendix 46 in the manual to the Under Secretary or Deputy Secretary. The report with the remarks of Under Secretary or Deputy Secretary will be submitted to the Joint Secretary and register will be returned to the branch. The personal branch of the Joint Secretary will check whether all the communications entered in its register figure in the reports sent by the branches. If any discrepancy is found, it should be reconciled. Thereafter, the report will be submitted to the Joint Secretary for scrutiny and for such other action as he may consider appropriate. A watch on communications received from VIPs will be kept in the same way as mentioned for MPs and MLAs. Departments may, through departmental instructions, include additional columns in the forms at Appendix 44, 45, and 46 to suit local needs. We will now look at the monitoring of court and CAT cases and the implementation of court and CAT orders. The personal branch of each joint secretary will maintain a separate register of court and CAT cases from the date of filing the petition or application in court or CAT. The serial number at which a petition is entered in the register will be prominently marked on the petition or application together with its date of registration. For example, 12 stroke JS stroke court stroke cat case 1st December 2009. To keep a watch on status of implementation of the court or cat judgments or orders, each branch will maintain a register as in form in the Appendix 48 in the manual and mark out prominently those court or CAT cases finally implemented by rounding off the serial numbers of the register in red ink and give date of implementation of court or CAT orders. If for any reason court or CAT case is received by a branch without being registered in the personal section of the Joint Secretary, immediate steps will be taken to get it registered there. On the 1st and 15th day of each month, each branch will submit the register along with the reports in the form at Appendix 47 to 49 to the Under Secretary or Deputy Secretary. The report with the remarks of Under Secretary or Deputy Secretary will be submitted to the Joint Secretary and register will be returned to the branch. The personal branch of the Joint Secretary will check whether all the court or CAT cases entered in its register figure in the reports sent by the branches. If any discrepancy is found, it should be reconciled. Thereafter, the report will be submitted to the Joint Secretary for scrutiny and for such other action as he may consider appropriate. We will now look at the Register of Assembly Assurances. Each branch in a department will keep a record in the form at Appendix 50 of assurances given by a minister to the Legislative Assembly, whether in replies to questions or in the course of discussions on bills, resolutions, and other motions. A separate register will be maintained and entries therein will be made session wise. The section officer will scrutinize the registers once a week, ensure that necessary follow up action is in fact being taken, and submit the registers to the branch officer every fortnight if the house concerned is in session and once a month otherwise, drawing his special attention to the assurances which are not likely to be implemented within a period of 3 months. The branch officer will keep the higher officers and the minister informed of the progress made in the implementation of promises and undertaking given by him in Parliament. Cases in which there is likely to be any delay in the implementation of a promise or an undertaking should be particularly brought to their notice. Let's now look at the checklist of periodical reports. To ensure timely receipt, preparation, and dispatch of periodical reports, each branch will maintain two checklists, one for incoming reports and the other for outgoing reports, in the forms at Appendix 51 and 52 of the manual. All periodical reports will be listed in column 2 of the appropriate checklist in the order of their frequency. Weekly reports being entered first, fortnightly reports next, and so on. The checklists will be prepared at the commencement of each year, approved by the section officer, shown to the branch officer, and displayed prominently on the wall. The section officer will go through the checklists once a week to plan action on items requiring attention during the next week or so. After a periodical report has been received or dispatched, the relevant entry in the date column of the appropriate checklist will be rounded off in red ink. We'll now move to review of periodical reports or returns. All periodical reports and returns relating to each branch will be reviewed at the level of Joint Secretary or above every 3 years within the following objectives: to eliminate those that are unnecessary, to redesign those that do not provide information or data in a usable form, to rationalize or simplify the essential ones by combining two or more of them when possible, and to revise the frequency in relation to the need with due regard to constraint of time required for collection of information or data from field levels. The results of the review during each year will be reported by the branch to the Internal Works Study Unit by the 7th of April. The Internal Works Study Unit will consolidate the reports received from the various sections and send a report covering the department as a whole to the Department of Personnel and Administrative Reforms by the 30th of April. We'll finally now look at the responsibility of expeditious disposal of work. The primary responsibility for expeditious disposal of work and timely submission of areas and disposal statements rests with the section officer. To this end, he will inspect the branch diary and the assistant's diaries and take such other action as may be necessary to ensure that no paper or file has been overlooked and that no receipt or case actually pending with the dealing hand has been excluded from the relevant area statement. The branch officer also will keep a close watch on the progress of work in the sections under his control. In particular, he will ensure that the prescribed area and disposal statements are submitted punctually and regularly. Thank you for watching this video on office procedures based on the Manual of Office Procedures 2010, revised and updated by the Nagaland Civil Secretariat.